Sure. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of intro for this one. Adam, are we recording yet?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Yeah, you guys, I think mostly know me. I'm Ben Wiggins. I guess I'm the founder of the founders group. And you know, saw uh, I guess I'll give a little bit of my story. So I'm a many time founder, been a serial founder kind of my whole adult life. Just went through my first exit recently, so I've had some past failures certainly, and have also. So I also manage. Thank you. Also manage funds. I'm the chief investment officer for a family office in Central Texas, and I do some angel investing as well. So I have a pretty a variety of lenses through which to view the founder investor dynamic, the founder experience, the investor experience, and the way the two interact with each other. And so I am pretty active on the angel investors subreddit, and noticed that there was a lot of stuff there that was that felt uninvestable. So the impetus for the founders group was I posted on the subreddit about basically offering to mentor people and to find something that was investable together, and I expected a pretty small response, which is what I normally get on that sub. And instead, it was a huge response. I've got, 6 chat requests yesterday based on that post. And that, we're 2 months later at this point. There have been over 300 chat requests all told, bunch of comments, bunch of upvotes, and that's great. But it left me in a position where I was thinking I can't possibly mentor all these people one-on-one. Just doing that for 15 minutes each once every couple of weeks would be more than a full-time job all by itself. So I thought, all right, what can we do here? And one of the things that I had noticed was that a lot of the people who opted in um, had prior exits. And I was like, well, they're looking for mentorship or they're looking to pitch something, but they could also contribute as mentors. And so the challenge was, how do we do something that is free, or very low cost? And we had eventually just landed on free, because the other thing was a bunch of people came back and said, we know you're selling something. Just tell us what you're selling. You have to be selling something. Nobody does anything like this pro bono. So just tell us what you're selling. And I was like, I'm not selling anything. Like, just go look at my other posts on the angel investor subreddit. I'm not benefiting from those. I don't put any calls to action on those things. So I was like, all right, so let's start this community, and everybody will give. The way we'll keep it free is that everybody gives to get. And people will either help out with administrative tasks, or they can offer mentorship as well. And that was the road to starting this community. And we also asked, do people want a Slack workspace or a Discord server? And I was more comfortable with the idea of Slack, but the vote was pretty heavily in favor of Discord. So we started a Discord server, and we've since ported over to a community Discord server, which has been great, but has also had its challenges. And so the 3 primary benefits that we offer right now is mentor matching, whether it's one-on-one or in groups. We try to do as much one-on-one as possible. The Discord server, and then webinars like this one. And then also we've had some accelerators reach out to us for member companies. We had one that was involved with the Walmart family office, and they're not officially affiliated with Walmart, but they do a lot of work with Walmart and with the Walton family office. And they're looking for primarily retail tech, AI stuff around retail and warehousing and things like that. And then another one just actually reached out yesterday and said that they're interested in energy companies. So the benefits are already manifesting in terms of like very real stuff. Oh, and then there's a 4th thing, which is pitch meetings, open attendance pitch meetings. We had our first 2 last week, and so we've been able to provide a lot of benefits to the members and to do it free of charge. So that's been great. And Some people have asked occasionally, eventually, this feels like a lot of contribution to never see any benefit from it. The truth is it'll probably monetize at some point, whether through sponsorships or something else. But when we get to that point, it's very important that we do it in a way that doesn't betray the spirit of the community, which is, despite all the information that's out there, like, people founders are still not getting what they need, which is more than just investment dollars. It's wisdom from people who have been there before. It's in industry specific knowledge when they're entering a new industry. And there shouldn't be a price on that. So yeah, there will be some sort of monetization that eventually we will use to help pay for various expenses for the community and pay people a little bit for their time and things like that. But it's really important to me that we do that in a way that doesn't betray what we promised originally, which is you can participate and get things of value for no charge, as long as you are willing to also contribute some effort yourself. And how can I be helpful?
Yeah, I think it's really important to mention too is that our community is only 6 weeks old. So yeah, we're like infantile. So let's see, got a question, go ahead. And
hey Ben, hey Adam, it's Kaju.
Hey Kaju.
Hey, sorry, my name's different here. Hey, hey, thanks for holding this Q&A thing. So I recently discovered a company that's doing the same thing as us, and it seems like they got some backing from YC, and I had a couple of days, just like beating myself up about it because they have some funding. Anyways, but my whole thing is like, I was actually thinking of spinning that as sort of like, okay, they have traction. We are a very new product. Yeah. They have traction, and kind of putting that in my traction slide. That look, this other company's got traction, or the marketplace is really big. It's not about just one player.
Oh yeah.
Would that be okay thing to do, or that's a no-go?
Yes, you can absolutely do that. That is an unusual but totally valid form of traction, like a market verification. And some of your investors may say, "Oh, well, why don't I just go invest in them instead?" But I think many more will. Yeah, exactly. Like most investors are going to say no anyway. So I think that's you're absolutely allowed to use that as validation of the idea, so to speak. And especially, are you guys, Kaju, forgive me, you guys where are you on your revenue journey? You don't have to say a number.
We have letter of intents from, I guess verbal intent from EMS companies, but we are pre-money for sure.
Okay. All right, pre-rev. Okay, so yeah, I would say, especially if you're pre-rev, like that is, you should start bringing that up.
Okay. And best like mention that in the main pitch thing or ancillary material stuff?
I guess it would do. I would, Kevin, if you have thoughts on this, feel free to jump in, or if you have a different question, we can get to it right
landscape.
Competitive landscape. Yeah, actually, yes. Yeah, that's
okay.
What he said. That's a better idea than what I had. Okay. So yeah, that's where you put it. Competitive landscape.
Just put it. Yeah, and Ben, I guess my last question is, sorry, everybody, is this, can you kind of talk about like how you dealt with it emotionally, I guess, whenever you saw somebody? Because I was like, it's like, oh crap, they have a team, they have whatever, but I know this marketplace is so big that even if they get 5% of it, there's still enough left over for us.
Sure.
So I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So we discovered a much larger competitor. Our company that was just acquired was a content marketing and podcasting business. It was an agency, and so we thought that we were relatively alone in this space as recently as 2021, 2022, and now it turns out there's podcasting agencies everywhere. But we discovered this much larger competitor that was actually just, a few hundred miles up the road. And that was challenging at first. Now that I'm in the investor space a little bit more, there is this very odd dynamic between founders and investors. For whatever reason, founders want to feel like they are alone in the space. They want to feel like they are doing something that nobody else is doing. And investors do not want that.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, I have been on both sides of that equation, and I will tell you, as a founder, I loved saying nobody else is doing this, and as an investor, I hate hearing nobody else is doing this. It's nice if you have kind of a new twist on things, if there's a way that you can build a moat, sort of, so to speak. But I think that the market moves fast enough that I think, having like a long-term moat is just a little bit less important than it used to be. So I've been on both sides of this, and I will say, as an investor, like, it's so weird to say this, but congratulations on your good news. Like, because
that's so funny that you say that, because I felt that way starting today a little bit, where I was like, okay, you know what? I can put this in my slide and I can say, okay, they've had a little bit of traction and that's how they went to YC and got this money. And mostly it's like, oh my God, they have money and they can hire the people that they need and I can't, And but no, I totally see what you're saying, because they're essentially doing the same thing that we're doing. But I've been doing the work for the last year, so I've got a lot of ideas. Their stuff just looked way more polished on the outside than ours does. So we were like, oh my God, we're losing our minds here. So.
Yeah. So just to kind of complete the story, that company has done fine, I would say, and we obviously did pretty well. I think we were smart to consider an acquisition when we did. I think that space is continuing to fill up. I considered reaching out to their CEO. He went to college, the same place that I went to business school, from my MBA, and I thought about reaching out to him a few times to see if there was potentially some synergy there. And I think now I'm glad that I didn't, but it was something I thought about very carefully. And if I were you, I would consider contacting these guys, because they're going to find you eventually. And if they, Kevin, Adam, like others with experience in this space, and Anushro, I see your hand up as well. But I would think about whether you want to contact them and try to find some synergy, because
I have a meeting with them, their CEO, tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Interested to hear how that goes.
Thank you.
I did not do that in my case, so I'll be interested to hear kind of what your journey is from here.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. Thanks, man.
Thank you. All right, Anushrat, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name.
No, actually, I kind of wanted to add a little bit to that, at least, just from kind of what my experience has been. I'm very early stage right now. I'm still kind of, doing a little bit of research, trying to, figure out, what direction to really take my product in, kind of along the lines of like what I had kind of written in the chat as well earlier in Discord. But something that I kind of found, and I agree with you, Ben, like I found that it was actually a good thing that I'm not in something alone. Because it's like, okay, sure, there might be other players, there might be, other companies that are much larger, have been around for decades, that are offering, something similar. But what I found, kind of the general consensus there was that like I kind of have an advantage of, building my product with, all this, kind of hindsight and kind of knowledge of like, okay, I know exactly sort of what I need to do right now to just have it working, have it working the way I want it to work. And even like after having spoken with a couple of people in the space that I'm kind of creating this product for, I realized that it's like, yes, I have a clearer vision of what exactly I need to design and implement from day one versus if I was a big company that already had some legacy software or product or whatever that now has to kind of retrofit it to allow for something like this, because that's what's happening a lot. And there is a little bit of friction from organizations or like enterprises like adopting their products, because it's like, okay, well, one, you're really expensive. It's just gonna be a lot of hassle, adopting all of this, trying to like onboard them and all that stuff. So it kind of gives an insight. It's like, okay, well, that clearly just gives me what I need to aim for. Easier onboarding, like simpler interfaces, not, no complications, things like that.
Anush, thanks.
Hey, I have probably two questions. The first one is, a couple of weeks ago, Kevin, you had said, we were talking about like the traction or reach on the pitch deck, and you were saying like, don't have a number that's just like absurdly optimistic. Also, don't have a number that's so small that no one wants to deal with it. So in theory, if I'm saying like, okay, 15 million people worldwide have this diagnosis, I don't know how many of those are English speaking, so that narrows it down. 2 million in the US estimated. So what's like if I say, okay, what if my goal is, I don't know, 250,000 subscribers, knowing that maybe that's a decent chunk out of the possible 2 million. Does that make sense?
So Lori, are you asking Kevin, or are you asking? I think you directed the question to
Kevin.
I'm
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm one of those people that says whatever name is in front of me. No, I'm sorry. It's you, Ben. You had said that during a presentation a couple of weeks ago when you were going through the pitch deck and talking about traction or reach and saying like, oh, don't have some, don't think like, oh, I'm going to get all 2 million people because that's absurd.
Right.
Also, don't limit it to like 50,000 because that's too low. It's kind of like, what is something pitch deck wise that's, seems realistic in that regard?
Right. Okay. So I think I see what you're going for here. So what is, you said, so how many people worldwide have this diagnosis?
Like 15 million is estimated, because it's not something where maybe the diagnoses are correct all the time or something. And then of those, only so many are going to be English speaking. So it's estimated 2 million in the United States, of which I would assume lots of people are not going to be tech savvy type people that are going to subscribe to a therapy SaaS type of thing. So then what is actually something, is it just math? Is it just me guessing? Should I throw out like, oh, I don't know, 250,000 maybe? I mean, what's that?
So the answer to your question is yes, but don't use the word guess, use the word assumptions. And what you should do is and this is, you'll see this same kind of logic applied in like business school case studies as well. What your investor frequently wants is to hear the way you think about the problem. And you should say what your assumptions are. So if you say, we know 15 million people worldwide, 2 million estimated in the United States. If that 2 million number is coming from a source, then you should like put the source in the fine print at the bottom of the slide. But then once you get to a point where you're having to start imparting assumptions, you could say, we assumed, based on, that we can reach half the audience in the United States. Of those, we feel like this number will opt into our mailing list. Of that number, this many will book a demo or whatever, whatever is the next step toward a purchase or opt in. And of those, we feel this many will actually make a purchase. Your investor, your prospective investor they can challenge the assumptions, but then you've created a place to start a conversation, and you can invite them to. You can say so based on those assumptions, this is what we feel like we'll get in year 1, year 2, year 3, whatever. And basically, if you'll lay your thought process open, if you'll open up your thought process and give the investor a chance to see kind of how you got through it, that can really only help you. Business, everybody understands that business at its root is about taking the unknown and making it known. So oftentimes you do have to impart assumptions in order to in order to get there, so to speak. Am I answering your question?
Yeah, because I wasn't sure. Like, okay, well then what is the magic number?
Right. No, that I can't tell you because I don't know what opt-in rates look like in your
Right.
in the industry we're talking about. I don't know what like are there certain types of the diagnosis where they're much more likely to seek a therapeutic solution than other types of the diagnosis. If you wanted to walk through that with me sometime, I'd be happy to listen. Or, there are a bunch of other folks in the server that could also, in the community, that could also do that with you. But yeah, it's just start imparting assumptions and then say what they are.
Okay.
Adam, what you got?
Yeah, somebody in the community asked if you'd run any trials with anyone yet, Lori.
Well, good question. Yes, because this software got created in like 2017, so I've been bootstrapping it the whole time, through a long and harrowing story of co-founders leaving and me taking over the whole thing and not being a tech person. I'm now working with somebody else from the server, which is really awesome, who has gonna hopefully help me turn all of this around. But yeah, so it's basically one of those things where, because I don't even know how to answer that. Yes, so it has been in existence. It has been commercially available. I have not ever marketed it or done anything with it because it's been bootstrapped. But it's also one of those things that, because of the way it was designed, I don't have like hard numbers to say, like, I mean, I have an idea of how many users I have, which is a couple hundred, which is not great. What happens to all the people that sign up? Because, Revenue Cat or whatever will tell me like, oh, you have like 3,000 customers. And I'm like, yeah, but not really, because I don't know what happens in between signing up and doing stuff. But I do know the competition got $30 million through several seed rounds. So the clientele does exist. It's more like I've been kind of shot and limping along for several years. So yeah, there are, and I use it right now in my medical practice where I'm at right now with my clients. So,
Kaju, did you have a
Yeah,
thought?
real quick. So the questions Lori was asking, I didn't know if they were supposed to go in like a bottom-up market analysis or TAM, Sam and Sam, or like the stuff she's talking about now. Is that supposed to go in traction? And the stuff y'all were talking about before, we're supposed to go in like a market analysis, and how much of the market can we capture right now? How much of the market can we capture with funding in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 years?
I would trust your judgment. And by the way, yeah, you just mentioned another section where it can go, which is your roadmap. Really, I would trust your gut in terms of kind of talking about which part of this analysis feels like it fits into which section of the deck, and your pitch. But yeah, overall, this is all what most of what we're talking about right now feels like the first part of it kind of fits into fits into Tam Sam Som, and then the last part of what we were talking about felt like it fit into traction and potentially roadmap, maybe competitive analysis as well. But yeah, so the answer is yes, all of the above.
Thank you.
Yep. Thiegley.
Yeah, Ray here.
Oh, hey, Ray. Hey, I was like, yeah, I know that's
Yeah,
somebody I know,
it's
but I
cool,
couldn't
though.
remember who it was.
It always tricks me too.
Yeah, Alan already knows me. Yeah, so I want to direct this question to you, Ben, because
yeah,
I just want to learn the most I can about how investors' minds work. So,
Sure.
what's a question you wish founders would ask you, but almost never do, when they are, talking to you or pitching to you? I mean, I've seen people that they just get the cash, right? But they don't, they don't ask about how the investor might help them after, post-investment, right? Which is really important to me. Not just take the money, but see and know how the investor can actually help you, through your journey, apart from just giving you some cash, right?
right. So you're talking about specifically, so I talk to founders about a lot of different things, but you're talking about specifically in a pitch meeting where I'm functioning
right.
where I'm wearing my investor hat.
Yeah, right.
The question I would like to get from founders,
What was that?
Darth Vader. Kevin needs a new Bluetooth.
Kevin something's up with his Bluetooth. No, yeah, we'll get it figured out. I think Ray, that's a good question. I'm not, nothing immediately springs to mind, but one thing I will say is, excuse me, I think the thing that founders don't do that I would do a lot, that they probably don't do as often, that I would do a lot more of, is use ancillary slides in their deck and be prepared for a variety of different questions from me. Like, I think founders feel like I have to lump all the information I have into these, 10 to 12 slides, and then that has to be the end of my deck. And no, your deck can be 70 slides as long as you know how to get to each one of them quickly. Like, there's, I would say, have more information available for the investor. The more a big piece of the investment process for me is, how well does the founder know the market that they're attacking and the product that they're building? And we always talk, the most important elements are, our traction, team, and market. I think that's true for most investors. And part of both team and market is, how well does the founder understand the space? And so I think I'm kind of cheating because I'm not really answering the question that you asked, but I don't know if there's a question that I'd like to hear more often from founders. Maybe, okay, here's a question that I think founders could ask that I think normally gets answered sort of implicitly during Q&A anyway, but as a founder, you could consider asking, if you weren't going to invest in this, why wouldn't you invest? What is the reason that you wouldn't invest?
Right.
And if you can really get investors to be honest with you, you'll have a lot. That's some really useful information. Now the problem is, can you get investors to be honest with you?
Yeah, that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Are they willing to answer that honestly in front of you, right?
So maybe there's a way to get them to answer the question indirectly.
But would you be willing to answer? Sorry, would you be willing to answer if I ask you after I finish my pitch? Right, we get to the Q&A. I'll answer your questions, and they say, right, I'm interested in this, and it would be okay for me to ask the investor, well, how can you help me now post investment, right? Or would this be accepted part of the whole pitch meeting for me to ask the investor, or would it come more like a, like kind of arrogancy? I don't know.
No, I don't know. I wouldn't be so worried about that. But you could table that question until afterwards. Ask somebody who's a little bit more trusted. The challenge is, I think you're going to need to ask the question in an indirect way, though. The more I talk through it, the more I'm like, I think I kind of gave you bad advice a minute ago. I would not ask that question directly because I just don't feel like you're going to get honest answers.
You wouldn't feel right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of, so have I recommended the mom test to you yet, Ray?
Yeah. I think you throw it away. You throw it somewhere on the server.
Yeah, that book is really good for doing market discovery, but I think it could also be effective for doing investor discovery. If you could figure out a way to get, to ask the question in the indirect way, then I feel like investors might give you more information that way than if you tried to go at it directly. Kaju, so you asked, should you have risks and challenges? The Mom Test is a book by Rob Fitzpatrick about customer discovery, market development, and it's basically, the idea is you can't ask anyone if your business is a good idea because everyone will tell you yes whether it is or not. So you get no information out of the conversation, and it's about how to actually get information from potential customers about whether they will buy your product. Really important. And it's the only good book I've read on customer discovery. There's a bunch of books out there on customer development, mostly written by the lean entrepreneurship guys. And I have a lot of respect for the lean entrepreneurship guys, a lot of respect. They've done so much for the community, but their stuff on customer development is crap. And I would say that to their faces if they were here now. Like, it is absolutely terrible because the only thing they say is get out of the building and actually talk to customers. Well, you are wasting your time if you do that by asking customers if your business is a good idea. It is actively detrimental to your process. So because you're spending time and getting nothing, so you're losing. And for all of my appreciation for everything that that gang does, The Mom Test is by Rob Fitzpatrick, is the only one. So to go back and answer the question, should you have risks and challenges in your ancillary slides? Yes, I would say yes. And I would be prepared to deal with questions about that. I don't know if I would necessarily, I probably wouldn't put it in a primary presentation because it's not an element that people are expecting. And, you don't say the downsides unless you're asked. Yeah, unless you're asked about them. But if you are asked, run me through a SWOT analysis. Like, what's the reason that this would fail? That is a question that I've actually asked as an investor. What is the reason that this wouldn't work? Because I want to hear what the founder has to say. If they say we can't fail, pass. Anybody can fail. But if they give like a solid, nuanced assessment of here are the things that could go wrong for us, and do I feel like if I feel like there's an obvious answer, then I want to hear them say that, and if there's not an obvious answer, then yeah, I'm listening. I'm kind of like I was talking about with Lori earlier. I want to hear the way that they think about the problem, like what actually could, like, obviously if an asteroid hits the Earth, none of our businesses are going to be successful. But short of that, what else could go wrong? And are they actually thinking about that? Or are they so caught up and in love with their idea that they're just not seeing any of the rest of the landscape? That is something that I have done and would do again as an investor. What other question or any follow-up to that? Does anybody have any follow-up to that, or do we have other questions to talk through?
Yeah, one question was, what is the Mom Test? Is there like a real brief answer to that?
Yeah, I gave it. It's
Okay.
a book. It's a book about customer discovery by Rob Fitzpatrick.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Understood.
Only good book I've read on customer discovery and market development. I wish there were more, because it's probably the biggest gap in early stage entrepreneurship right now, is people don't know how to do customer discovery, and this book closes that gap. It's the only resource I know that does.
I think if somebody is willing to pay for your product, that's a good answer. Like, just saying,
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah,
somebody-
yeah. But if you're at an earlier stage in the process, and I feel like, software is the one. If I got to go spend money on devs, especially non-technical software founders are the people who should go read this book today
Right.
and finish it tonight, because you're trying to go raise money, you're going to go spend it on devs, and are you wasting your time by solving a problem that nobody actually cares about?
Exactly.
So yeah, non-technicals I think are particularly important, or anybody who has to spend money before they can make money. The more money you have to spend, the more important it is to do this first.
Right. Because I'm in the SaaS space, I think one of the lessons I've learned after many years of running the SaaS, you have to launch like pretty fast, right? With a crappy product, but solving the problem in a very, very basic way and getting those feedbacks in as soon as possible, instead of just developing without knowing exactly what your customers actually want. Because at the end of the day, the product you started with is not a problem that you're going to end up with after you iterate and get all those feedback from customers.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, we pivoted twice with Proclaim. Lori, I'll get your one more question, and then I do want to spend at least a little bit of time going through Discord stuff before we call it a day. So go ahead, Lori.
Okay, yeah, just a quick one. Given that I've bootstrapped this entire thing, does that put me at a disadvantage? Or is it seen necessarily as a positive? And at what point, because I'm kind of sick of, it's very tiring trying to bootstrap all of this. And I guess it was just like general feedback about like, is there a good time, or do you want to bootstrap for as long as possible?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, having said that, there's a tension there, of course, and you just pointed out that it's tiring to bootstrap, with certain ventures, you reach a point where it's unsustainable to keep bootstrapping, and at that point, you should raise capital.
Okay.
But yeah, no, you're never, as an investor, I'm never like I never would look at anybody and say, "Ooh, you bootstrapped to this point. I don't know about you." I would say, "Awesome, you made it that much farther with an undiluted cap table. I don't have to deal with any other investors. Nobody's trying. I know nobody's trying. Like nobody's put you into a bad situation yet." Clean cap table. That's a great situation to be in.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not a bug. It's a feature. That's a plus, not a minus. So and then when is the appropriate time? Well, if you feel like, I would trust your instincts. If you feel like now's the time to start considering a raise, then it probably is. Kevin, what did you have a thought on that?
I think a lot of like companies will reach the point where the bootstrap and like the raising funding, and I think the big question is why the funding? That's the big question you ask yourself, right? Like to kind of bring it back to like my company, it's when I've heard enough of my clients go, "Hey, I don't know how much better the software can get," is when I go, "Okay, now we should scale because now we've got product market fit and people are saying to me that they like the product a lot." Obviously people are going to say that they have other things that they'd like it to do, but you see what I mean? So like in your case, at what point do you go, I built it enough and my customers have given me enough feedback where I think that with more people, I can help more people? That's kind of where that's the point for you. And then because you can't just raise money for the sake of raising money. Investors will see through it. They go, well, you're just tired. But like I don't see the hockey stick, right?
Okay.
And that's what they're looking for. It's like, where can I make, like, you think about it this way, it's just, hey, they want to make money, so
yeah.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that helps.
Adam, what you got?
You're probably reading the question in the comments.
Oh yes. Okay. AI is hated by some and encouraged by some. I'll just read it out loud so that for the purposes of the video. Not in a good place to speak out of my mic. I have a very general question. I'm entering a space where AI is hated by some and encouraged by some. There are two existing players in the market without much AI in their application, and the only best thing that sets mine apart is the addition of AI. Is this a good place to be in, or is it a warning since the big players haven't implemented AI? So Anonymous, I feel like there's not really a bad place for AI to be right now, as long as it does like actually add, value to the process. Like I guess the question that I would ask on the back of this is, what is AI? What do you use AI to do? And often what people are using AI for is data capture or data processing, or process optimization. Things like that are typical. It's those are sort of typical use cases. And then ask yourself, is that thing, does that really add value to what's being done by the incumbents? And that's a place where you have to maybe do some customer discovery, maybe do some trialing, that kind of thing. There's not necessarily a pat answer to that. There are some AI applications that I look at and I say, whoa, that is going to change everything. And we've seen, you're familiar with many of them already. And there are some things that I look at and I'm like, why are we slapping AI on this? You're just trying to drive up your valuation by saying there's AI involved. There is actually no need for AI in this application. But it's the hot thing right now. And so if you're adding value with it, then I would talk to some customers, read the mom test, and talk to some customers, and figure out, are the problems that you're solving actually a net value add to the process that already exists? Does that answer your question? Okay. Yeah, thank you for the question. All right, Adam, I'm going to ask you to, I think I'm going to ask you to screen share. I've watched your videos on the Discord server, so we'll take maybe one more brief question while Adam gets a screen share ready to run people through sort of like, if anyone is still missing channels in the Discord server, there's a very specific reaction that you have to post in the rules channel to be able to unlock the rest of the server. Yeah, yeah. So
it's only going to take me like 2 seconds to do this, but this is like real basic and probably like something that nobody's ever asked I definitely know they haven't asked it in our server, but how important is it to not, or to actually incorporate yourself in Maryland or outside of Maryland as a business?
Delaware,
sorry.
I think it's still the best choice. I think Delaware C Corp, I think, is still kind of the standard. A lot of companies are incorporating in Texas now. And if somebody came to me with a Texas C Corp, I would not have any hesitation about that. I would say if you are raising capital, C Corp rather than LLC. A lot of small businesses start non-startup, non-venture oriented businesses start with LLCs. And when I first got into venture, I didn't really grok the difference, or some of the important differences between the two. So Delaware, I think, is still probably considered the best, but it's no longer, I would say, considered far and away the best. Their court of chancery had some issues with, I think, with Elon Musk's bonus, actually, and I'm not meaning to drag Elon into this conversation, but they're not necessarily thought of as kind of the just sort of course, this is what you do anymore. But I would say that's still what I see more than anything else is Delaware C Corp.
Okay.
Favorable business law.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just their legislative system is very favorable to business, and some other states, California in particular, New York in particular, Illinois in particular, basically left progressive states, the states that are politically left-leaning in the United States, generally not as favorable on business law. So go ahead, Adam. Can you show people the reaction that they need to do in order to get access to the rest of the server, and then just basically take a 2-minute walkthrough of like, here's the here's the stuff that is different between this server and a traditional Discord server, and here's kind of how to think about using it.
Okay, gotcha. So when you first walk into the server, you're going to get, for lack of a better term, dumped into the welcome and rules section. So you just have to you just watch this video. It's a welcome video from Ben and a little message from Ben. This is the thing that trips people up. So make sure you read the rules thoroughly. So that is the most important thing. No direct selling, no solicitation of investments inside or outside the server, or inside the server. Check your resources. Always consider, just be a human being. Keep the topics in relevant areas. Make sure that you change. This is the most important one that a lot of people don't do. You can change your name in Discord per server. So, this is a business community. You're not going to go into any business meetings wearing a mask. So please take off your mask and change your Discord name to your actual name, if you would, please. That makes linking up with people so much easier. Make sure you take the welcome survey. That is going to give us some opportunities to figure out who you are as a person. Also, if you are, need to be mentored, or if you want to be mentored, where are your strengths, where your weaknesses. This is the big thing right here, is make sure you hit this little icon right here. Ta-da! And that actually gains you access to the rest of the server. Actually pressing any of these buttons right here is going to give you primary roles in terms of, who you want to help and who you're going to be in the server. So coming out of that, discussions, this is just the water cooler. This is your traditional, chat that you're going to end up seeing. Introductions. This is the next place we'd all like you to go. So there are some rules. I'm going to back this out so it's not quite so big. As handsome as Ben is, we don't need to see him that big.
Okay. Okay.
So at each of the top of these, you're going to see post guidelines. This is a little book right here. So, I'm going to blow this up so you can actually see it. Can everybody see that? You can read that okay?
Yeah, more or less. And
all right, gotcha.
I think Ricardo has a question as well, Adam, when you get to it.
Okay, gotcha. I just will go through this. So every one of these is going to have some post guidelines. So make sure the title of the post is the name of your company and succinct concept description. The only message of your first post is going to be hashtag space your name, and then attach an image if you'd like to. After you send the first post, you can go in and edit it. And then after that, utilize the template located in the Acme Corp thing. So if we go down to Acme, what you can do here is, let me get out of this. There we go. This is the template. You can just copy this right here. That's all you have to do. It's just right click and do copy. The template is only going to turn this portion of it out. So you're going to be able to see, be able to fill in the blanks there. So that's going to be a lot easier for you. So each of these, this is just networking at large. It's pretty much going to be the same thing. Keep in mind too, that you do have the post guidelines up here. I'm going to blow this up so y'all can see it. It's the same thing. So it's going to be, your first message is going to be hashtag your name, attach an image if you'd like. After that, utilize the following examples as a first sentence in your message. So, it's just, whatever you wanted to do. So this one is a real simple one. Sorry to give you guys whiplash. Just wanted to, share something I'm building and blah, blah, blah. Not a blah, blah in a bad way, but I'm just trying to speed things up so not everybody is bored. So we actually have the networking hub. This is just real simple. Just post anything that if you want to connect with someone, if you're looking for, like Lori had said, she found somebody here to work with on the server. So, ACEs, that is, that's action at work, which we actually like. If you go into this one right here, this is actually going to be a phone chat thing. So I'm going to go ahead and myself from that. But really, that's about the extent of things. It's it's a little bit different in some places, but those places that it is going to be different. You're going to see that little book at the upper right hand side of the channel that you're in, and just follow the directions. So, okay, Ricardo said he figured it out. So congratulations. I hope that helped.
Can I just drop something in real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I posted a link in one of the channels. I'm not sure which one, but I just noticed the rule about posting links. I just didn't want to be in violation of it because I hadn't thought of it at the time.
Yeah, I've posted links in there as well. Usually they go out to LinkedIn. Like I just put one recently in LinkedIn about free trials and the trials and tribulations of that. So
Gotcha.
that was in resources, I believe. So
Okay.
it depends on what you're actually sending out to. So if you're sending somebody out to your website to if you want them to trial it, and you're not asking for money, Ben, is that going to be okay if you're looking for somebody to help you out in terms of
Because Kira and I were discussing something, and he wanted to see it in action, so I just dropped the link of a demo that I created for him.
Oh, okay.
It was something we were discussing prior, so I just put the link for the demo in there. I can't remember the channel for the life of me.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at it right now. I would say that's fine. It's not a general call to action. You're not trying to make a sale. You didn't directly solicit the investor. I brought him into the conversation.
Gotcha.
So I'll sign off.
Gotcha.
On that
I
one.
just saw it in the rules just now, and it clicked to me that you were not supposed to post links. So I just didn't want to be in violation.
I think
right,
in the
thank you,
future, in the future, what I would do, Ricardo, is just send it to him on a PM. But I'm not gonna do it. Like we're not gonna take any action on this.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for asking.
Good. Ray, got a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick, Adam. Maybe in the when posting a post, maybe put the image is optional because a lot of people wouldn't find any value in posting an image to every post they have to post. I don't know. You said it's optional, but it's not really clear in there that is optional to post in an image to the post.
Yeah, we'll go as long as we need to. So if you guys have questions, feel free to jump in. I am a score mentor, so that is one of the things that I do. I work with mentors all the time, so I can help with businesses all the time. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate your time today.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Ben.
All right. So where do you want me to go?
Yeah, where you post things, the posts.
Okay, so going up to the introductions.
I guess I don't know. There's some guidelines where you have to post an image and you say it's optional.
Okay, let me get back to here. So so this is the introductions. This is going to be one of those things where you're going to have post guidelines. You can see the little book right there. I'm going to blow this up a little bit bigger so y'all can read it.
It's the third point.
There we go. So it's the third point. Attach an image. Yeah, you don't have to if you don't want to. So, that's an optional thing.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't say, well, I mean, maybe people understand that it's an optional thing, but you wouldn't just take it from that line. That is.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's what I mean.
So you'd like it reworded. So, it's optional if you want.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, there's pictures in here. I put mine in, it's usually a logo.
I see.
Okay. Ben just put him in. So Day Off Interactive, that's a logo.
Right. It's like a logo.
That's a logo. Yep, exactly.
I think it makes sense. It makes sense now.
Yeah,
it makes sense. Okay. You can leave it in there. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So it does not have to be a picture of you. It can be a logo, and it does. You don't even have to put one. So here's one right here that doesn't have one at all. So
yeah, that makes sense. If it's a logo, it makes sense. I thought it was just some blog post. You have to put some meaningless image there just as part of the post.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Any other questions on the server? Go ahead and unmute yourself. You don't have to raise your hand. Anyone? Bueller?
I just want to, first of all, I get that reference. Second of all, I want to thank you for going over that because I was going to message, I can't remember her name now.
Jules.
Jules, thank you about it, because I wasn't sure if I should post it all at once or put it underneath and how to really make it be okay. So I'm doing it while you're talking now. So thank you.
No, you're totally fine. So yeah, that's a little bit confusing because, you know, this is a community server. The community server has only been around, Jules said, for a couple of years. And I don't think a lot of people even know about it. So, you know, for us, it's a lot easier, us as a group, it's a lot easier to, you know, follow, you know. So here's a great way. So the roast my pitch deck, you remember how it used to be on the other server? I can jump over to that really quick so you can take a look at it. I mean, it was a nightmare to navigate. Where did it go? Roast my pitch deck. Where did it go? Let's see. There it is, roast my pitch deck. So, you know, this was all over the place. You know, we should have, you know, when somebody posted something into the server, in terms of, or not the server, but this channel, they should have created a thread. So what this does in the new community, when you go back to this is your thread right here. So I posted, let's see, let's take Diesel J's. If you guys have not seen the pitch from Duel, it's on our YouTube channel. I'll drop that in the website or in the comment sections here, so you guys can actually see it. But you know, this is a perfect example. So you know, this is the pitch deck. He put this on here as a link. So there's the marketing things. There's his pitch deck right there. Goes to Canva, and then everybody here is able to comment instead of like trying to bounce around, you know, the nightmare that was the roast your pitch deck in the regular, you know, the regular server that everybody's used to. So does that make life a lot easier for everybody? Would you agree? Okay, cool. With the server change, are the people who were not assigned a mentor be rolled into the new server sorting hat? Or do we need to sign up elsewhere? No. Anything from the old server is just transferred over into the new server. So if you already filled out the form, you don't have to do that again. That's totally cool. If you have not done it, we invite you to. So you don't have to go through the entire, you know, process all over again. Just go back to the welcome page and, you know, press that link. It'll take you to the survey. Just fill that out, and that'll definitely help you guys out. Got somebody's going to hop off. I think that is about it. Any other questions for anyone, from anyone? So let me go over to the YouTube channel. Let me open that up really quick. Let me grab the link so y'all have it. I'll put it in the chat so everyone has it. Your channel, there it is. And copy and paste. So that is where all of our webinars are going to live. That is going to have anybody that has done a pitch, and they said that it was going to be okay for you guys to actually take a look at it, then you know, that's going to be open for you guys. Like I said before, Duel said that it was totally fine for y'all to take a look at it. So you know, please go ahead and give them any feedback. You know, it's a great learning experience, and that is what this community is all about. So it's all about learning. My pleasure, Ricardo. Anybody else have any other questions? For some people, I know it's nighttime, so I appreciate everybody joining. So if that's it, then I'm going to go ahead and hop off, and we will see you on the server. So have yourself a great evening. All right.